Alright, so this poem is 6 stanzas, 40 lines, and has no rhyme scheme. It's called I Know Some Lonely Houses Off the Road. Let's take a look at the first stanza. Basically, it's saying robbers are trying to break into these houses. I know some lonely houses off the road. A robber'd like the look of wooden barred and windows hanging low, inviting to a portico. A portico's a porch, and where two could creep is the robbers coming, and one is like the person with the tools, maybe trying to, like a lockpick, trying to break in. The other peep is kind of like the lookout, making sure the people inside are asleep and no one's seeing them. And old-fashioned eyes means there's some old people in there who are very easy to fool because they're not easy to surprise. Alright, the second stanza is about how silent the house is at night, how orderly the kitchen looked by night with just a clock, but they could gag the tick. Gag kind of means like to silence. When you think of a gag, you think of like a cloth or something to quiet someone. And mice won't bark means simply the mice won't make noise. And the walls don't tell, so no one hears them, and no one ever does. Alright, the third stanza is about kind of elaborates on the fact that no one knows a pair of spectacles or the objects, and they're really the only thing that can see them. An almanac's aware that an almanac is kind of like a calendar that has important dates, like for example the phase of the moon. Was it the mat that winked, or was it the mat winked? It's kind of like the objects noticing that the robbers are in the house. Or a nervous star, the moon slides down the stair. That's an example of personification, to see who's there. Basically saying the only one who knows they're there is night itself. The fourth stanza is about all the loot that the robbers take. There's plunderware, a tankard's kind of like a cup, a spoon, an earring or stone, watch, some ancient brooch to match the grandmama that stayed sleeping there. It's kind of makes a funny joke about how old the grandma is and how valuable the brooch is because of its age. The fifth stanza talks about how day is starting to approach, but slowly. So day rattles too, stealth slow. Stealth is kind of like a cautious action or movement, so it's just slowly coming in. The sun has got as far as the third sycamore, kind of like a tree, the sunrise, and chanticleer, which is actually a rooster, so a rooster screaming in the morning, screams who's there, as in, oh, what happened, the robbers came. So day finally comes, and by the time the old couple wake up and day arrives, the robbers have already escaped on a train, and the old people have no idea what's going on. And that's basically it. Overall, this poem's about basically how easy it is for something we don't notice to just slip under our noses. For example, someone robbing our house, although that's kind of pretty easy to notice. My poem's a bit darker than Emily Dickinson's. It's the same first line, same 6 stanzas, same amount of lines, but my rhyme scheme varies a bit from stanza to stanza. So let's get started. I know some lonely houses off the road. First stanza is A B A V. That I never go near. It's kind of about a haunted house. The corrode and lack of veneer. It's a bit run down. Veneer is a thin decorative covering of like wood over things. On the abode's kind of like house. Create a sense of fear, and the feeling flowed out, stay clear. While another crowd, be a pioneer, kind of indecision of whether to go in or not. But eventually the character makes a decision to go into the house, and he's still scared about what's inside. Alright, the second stanza is about kind of about the sense of sight. So I went in at night with just a light, maybe like a flashlight or a candle, or depending on the time, it doesn't really matter. But it couldn't stop the dark. By the way, the rhyme scheme's A B B A B. But it couldn't stop the dark, which was completely stark. Stark is kind of complete or total, so it's just total darkness. And so my eyes lose sight. You can't even see anything. Can't even see the hand in front of your face. Nothing. Only hark, which is now hark kind of means like listening, which kind of transitions into the third stanza where it focuses on the sense of hearing. So not a sound was made. I could not hear. Kind of the person entering the house kind of questions themselves, what's going on in here? Was that a sound delayed, or was it not here? This had the rhyme scheme A B A B C C. Nothing, no sight or sound. I can only grasp my way around. It's kind of a transition into the fourth stanza, which is about touch. The fourth stanza is about touch, so I touch only air. There's no touch. You can't feel anything around them. I feel confined, desperate, hardly aware. The person entering the house is starting to get a little scared, freak out a little bit, getting desperate. Nothing. My touch is blind. My sense is pair. Pair kind of means like kind of reduce something in quantity or number. So like all his senses are like slowly being taken away until all that's left is him and his mind. One function left, my mind, which transitions into the fifth stanza, which is about what happens to his mind. Empty, void, hollowed. This is where I stay evermore. I was swallowed, only heard about through lore. Hollowed kind of means like empty on the inside. So it's like he's not even aware of himself anymore. This is where I stay evermore. He's just trapped in the house. I was swallowed, kind of engulfed by the house, only heard about through lore, knowledge or tradition, passed on by word of mouth. So there's only like stories about him now. I was never followed. I'm simply nevermore. He's never heard from again, never seen again. He's simply a shell inside a house. And the final stanza is about it's basically a conclusion to the entire poem. So it ends his tale, a story of nothingness, this humble ode. Ode is like a lyric poem written in varied meter, which mine kind of is. With the plain a veil. A veil is kind of like a point or moral. So basically it's saying don't go near the house off the road. It's kind of like a warning to stay away from the house. There's something wrong with it. In conclusion, my poem kind of takes the point of Dickinson's poem about awareness to kind of the next level in a way, by how this person slowly becomes less and less aware of what is around him, until basically he's not even aware of himself, and he's just driven crazy inside the house. Yeah, one final tip for this project: when you're picking a poem, make sure it's short and sweet, because 40 lines, and also by trying to make it rhyme, it sucks.